She wakes up every morning to men desperate for her attention, endless messages, compliments, promises. But to her, all of it feels disposable, like background noise she barely hears anymore, until she sees your name. Then she hesitates. She slows down. She replies instantly. Why? Because you're not chasing her. You're not fighting for position. You're standing still, centered. That's what makes you powerful. You're anchored, calm, and unpredictable. Not because you're saying the right words, but because your energy is different. You've done the work inside. Most men today are exhausted, not because they're weak, but because they were told effort equals value. That if they just give more attention, send more flowers, prove themselves more, they'll be chosen. But that mindset makes you look like an applicant, begging for approval in a game she controls. One of dozens, all easy to ignore, all replaceable. Men today aren't starving for love, they're starving for respect. And you're watching this right now because part of you knows you weren't born to chase women. You were born to master yourself. But here's the brutal truth most men never realize. If you're not the one creating emotional contrast in her life, she'll choose the chaos elsewhere. This isn't about making her like you. It's about becoming unforgettable, even when she tries to forget you. Drop a comment below. I am the rare one, if you're done competing like every average man and ready to stand out. In this video, I'm breaking this down step by step, giving you the exact reasons why Stoic men stand out. Even when she has endless options, once you understand these truths, you won't chase, you won't beg, you'll attract without trying. And the final point today, it's a bonus I added just for you, and if you master it, you'll join the 1% of men who never compete, because they're the ones every woman remembers. Let's begin. Number 1. The man who refuses to compete always wins. Here's the first truth most men can't accept. Competing for her attention is weakness. She'll never choose the man who tries the hardest. She'll choose the man who makes her feel like he wasn't even trying to be chosen, but simply allowed her in. The moment you adjust your tone, schedule, passions just to improve your odds, you disqualify yourself. You've stepped off your throne and handed her the crown. Modern men have been sold a lie, that showing more interest, earning her loyalty, that effort wins love. But what really happens? Your effort inflates her ego, and instinctively she begins testing you. Short replies, last-minute changes, making you wait just to see if you'll react. And every time you chase, she feels it, not consciously, instinctively, and desire starts to die, not because you did something wrong, but because you became predictable, replaceable. When you argue your worth instead of living it, you lose your position as the man she can respect. A man's energy is currency. When you spend it all trying to impress her, you end up bankrupt, emotionally and spiritually. She doesn't want your extra effort. She craves your unshakable identity. If she stopped responding today, would your life collapse? Would your gym sessions stop? Would your hunger fade? If her absence destroys your focus, you were never solid to begin with. The man who refuses to compete isn't cold. He's focused, not dismissive, directed. And she senses that energy immediately, because it's rare. A man who doesn't need her. And that's why she wants him. She won't say it out loud, but her behavior reveals it. She checks her phone when you don't text. She gets curious when she can't predict your rhythm. She starts to feel something rare, a loss of control. But here's the part almost no man understands. When you stop competing, you trigger a reaction inside her she can't even explain. A psychological storm that pulls her back even harder. And what I'm about to show you next is the exact reason why most men fail to hold that power. Because for once, she's near a man who doesn't orbit her universe. Competing isn't strength, it's survival. It's the behavior of men who haven't built their own world, so they cling to hers. The more you try to become her world, the more she'll want out of it. A man who holds true power doesn't persuade, he just lives. He evolves, not to win her, but to win himself. When your presence commands respect without demand, she respects you without understanding why. And if she walks, she was never strong enough to stay in the first place. But here's the thing that most men still miss. Even if you stop competing, you'll fail if you can't master this next shift. Because it's not enough to step off the battlefield. You must also become untouchable inside. And that's exactly what separates average men from the ones she quietly chases without understanding why. Number 2. Detachment, the magnetic force she can't resist. Here's the second truth. Detachment is magnetic. Ever wonder why she forgets the man who texts "good morning" every day, but can't forget the one who vanished without a word? It's not because he's playing hard to get. It's because he doesn't need to be got. A man who no longer craves her validation moves differently, breathes deeper, lives freer. He doesn't wake up to check his phone, he wakes up to check his purpose. That man is untouchable, not because he hides his emotions, but because he chooses where they belong. Every time you check her story, stop and ask yourself, why? Every time you want to double text, what are you really chasing? If her attention fills a hole inside you, you're not drawn to her, you're escaping yourself. And here's the brutal part. She feels that energy instantly. She notices it when you reply too fast, over-explain everything, cancel your plans too easily. Detachment isn't coldness, it's direction. When you're moving with purpose, your absence is felt without saying a word. Emotional control isn't pretending you're strong. It's about being so full of your own momentum that her moods can't move you. That's when you become magnetic. That's when your presence carries weight. Not because you're cold, because you're complete. When she feels that weight, she leans in. Not because you asked, but because curiosity betrays her. She wonders, why isn't he reacting? Why didn't he chase? Why do I want his attention more now that he's not giving it? You become her mystery, not by lying, but by focusing on something bigger, your mission. Most men abandon their mission the moment she gives them attention. They drop everything for a maybe, and they lose the very energy that made them noticeable in the first place. Detachment means you stop begging for approval and start respecting yourself enough to walk away from anything that makes you beg. She won't say it, but she craves that kind of strength. The strength of a man who listens but never loses himself in her words, who sees her beauty but isn't blinded by it, who feels deeply but never falls apart. She's used to men folding, used to men asking, "What do you want?" She's rarely met a man who knows what he's after and won't adjust for her moods. That man creates gravity. That man is rare, and rare men can't be replaced, not because he gave her butterflies, but because he gave her depth. Detachment isn't cruelty, it's pure self-respect. It's knowing you're enough, with or without her. It's feeling desire and still choosing discipline. That's power. That's why she'll chase you silently while pretending she doesn't care. Because deep down, she knows every man gave her the world, but only one man made her want to be in his. If you know you're not like the men she's used to, prove it right now. Write this below if you're ready to lead, not chase. I'm building my world, not orbiting hers. And hit like if you're ready to be the rare man she can't forget. But here's the thing, it's not enough for her to want to be in your world. Your world itself has to be so solid, so disciplined, that she can't disrupt it, even if she tries. 3. A man whose life she can't interrupt always wins. The third truth. If she can interrupt your life, you don't have one that's worth living. You want her attention? Build a life that can't be shaken. You want her respect? Become a man she can't derail. The most attractive man is the one whose life is already overflowing, not with women, but with purpose, power, and precision. When your calendar is driven by discipline, when your hours are packed with personal progress, your time stops being free. It becomes a privilege. She doesn't just get access, she has to earn it. And that shift flips the dynamic completely. Because here's what most men miss. Women instinctively test men not because they're cruel, but because they need to feel your strength. And the moment you start canceling your plans, skipping workouts, delaying your mission just to entertain her, she senses she's already stronger than you. You might think it's romantic to rearrange your day for her. You might think pausing your goals makes you emotionally available. But what it really does is send a quiet message. You've become my new mission. And that's where you lose everything. No woman wants to be the center of your world. She wants to be invited into a world that's already built from routines, ambition, and fire. When your life is solid, structured, and full, she doesn't feel entitled. She feels privileged to be included, not because you're trying to impress, but because you're too focused to try at all. And this is the part no man talks about. The second you revolve your life around her feelings, she quietly starts looking elsewhere for a man whose life she has to rise into, not control. The rarest men? They don't pause for chaos, they build through it. If you still shape your identity around what she thinks, what she says, how she reacts, you're not a leader, you're a follower, a substitute, a placeholder. The man who waits for approval dies waiting. Wake up earlier. Train until your body and mind are weapons. Set clear goals. Execute like your survival depends on it, because it actually does. She might enjoy your attention for a moment, but she'll never stay in a life she can manipulate. What she will stay for is a rhythm she has to earn her way into. A life that keeps moving forward no matter what she says or feels. That's not cold, that's rare. A man that clear becomes magnetic without even trying. When she senses your time is limited, she starts valuing every second she gets. Build that rhythm, build that structure, build that edge. And when she shows up, don't stop the music for her. Let her adjust to your rhythm or leave the stage. Either way, the rhythm doesn't stop. Write this below if you're done rearranging your life for anyone else. My purpose leads, nothing interrupts. Before we move to the next point, let me ask you something real. If you stopped chasing, detached completely, and built a life she can't disrupt, do you honestly think she'd respect you more or less? I want to hear your answer below. And here's the mistake men keep making. Even if you've built that life, you'll still lose her if you can't connect beyond the surface. And this is exactly what most men never figure out. Number 4, the rare man who speaks to her soul, not her body. Here's the fourth truth. She's heard you're beautiful so many times it's just background noise now. It doesn't move her. It doesn't even touch her. Not because she's numb, but because most men are lazy. Lazy with their words, lazy with their attention. They default to what's easy, what's visible, what takes zero awareness. But she already knows she's attractive. She already knows how that dress fits. She already knows what filters do to her selfies. What she doesn't know is who sees deeper, who notices the heaviness in her laugh, the pause before she answers, the edge behind her sarcasm. That's where real connection begins, not at her hips, at her core. You want to stand out? Then speak where no other man even looks, her mind, her identity, her contradictions. And this is where almost every man fails. They think they're being romantic, but they're just repeating tired lines that blend into the noise. The rare man who speaks to her mind instantly becomes unforgettable, because almost no man even tries. Tell her, "You look amazing." She'll smile politely and move on. But say this instead: "There's a tiredness behind your eyes that feels like you've carried too much for people who never thanked you." Now she pauses. Now she feels you. Because now you're not complimenting her image. You're seeing her soul. Most men never even try to understand her. They just try to entertain her. But when you ask better questions, you get access no other man gets. This isn't about manipulation. It's about curiosity. Grounded masculine curiosity. You ask what drives her, then what keeps her awake at night, not what shows she's watching. Now you're not chasing her attention. You're giving her something rare, a mirror for her mind. That's how you stop being entertainment and become unforgettable. She'll talk to 10 guys who flirt with her lips, but only one who connects with her mind. That's the man she thinks about when she's alone. That's the one she'll crave when the crowd leaves. And that man? He doesn't rely on charm. He doesn't compete for her attention. He listens. He observes. He speaks with precision. You don't need poetry. You need presence. Pay attention to her rhythm. When she laughs, is she hiding pain? When she smiles, is she covering a wound? Learn to feel without touching. Learn to hear without interrupting, because the man who reads her emotional language without speaking becomes irreplaceable. You want her to feel safe? Don't flatter her. Understand her. Don't react to her image. Respond to her presence. When you do this, she won't just see you. She'll feel seen. And that's a feeling she never forgets. Write this below if you're ready to see beyond the surface. I see what other men miss. If you're still with me until here, you're already different from the average man. Most won't even reflect on this level of truth. And if this is hitting deeper than anything you've heard before, drop a like. It tells me this message is reaching men who actually get it. Number 5. Emotional control. The masculine edge. She craves. There's unmatched power in a man who refuses to be moved. A strength so absolute, no tone shift, no mood swing, no test can rattle him. When a woman meets this presence, she doesn't just respect it, she's magnetized by it. She's used to men who lose themselves the second her mood shifts, men who panic when she pulls away, men who scramble when she tests a boundary, men who argue just to prove they're right. But the man who holds his frame, who doesn't flinch, who doesn't rush to explain, apologize, or defend, that man shakes her in the best way. She literally doesn't know what to do with a man she can't provoke. She's confused, fascinated, because this kind of stability is rare, and that's exactly what pulls her closer, deeper. And here's the secret no one talks about. She tests you not to destroy you, but to trust you. If you crumble, she walks. If you stay grounded, she relaxes in a way she can't explain and won't forget. This is the exact moment where most men lose their power, without realizing they gave it away. The emotionally unshakable man doesn't react to chaos. He sees right through it. He doesn't need to raise his voice. His silence can shift the entire room. He doesn't overtalk, overshare, or overprove. Every word feels earned, never wasted. That man doesn't get lost trying to convince anyone. He knows exactly who he is. He knows exactly where he stands. That certainty, It's intoxicating to a woman who's used to bending weaker men. The emotionally grounded man is the opposite of reactive. He doesn't panic when she's distant. He doesn't rush to fill every silence. He allows space. He allows her to feel the absence of his energy. And if she drifts, he lets her. Not because he doesn't care, but because he values his peace more than her validation. That's what makes him rare. That's what makes him dangerous. Emotional control isn't denial. It's discipline. It's knowing your emotions are real, but not always useful. It's knowing when to speak and when to stay silent. And in that stillness, she feels a kind of safety she's rarely felt before. Not the safety of agreement, but the safety of a man who can't be broken by her. That man becomes her anchor, her craving, the man she respects more than she can even explain. And that's the man who wins, not by chasing, not by pleasing, but by mastering himself first. Write this below if you refuse to lose yourself over anyone else. I'm unshakable, no matter what. If you're still here right now, you're not like most men. You're one of the few willing to hear hard truths most would run from. This bonus point, it's for you, the men who stayed, the men ready to face themselves completely. Master this, and you step into a level of masculine power most guys can't even comprehend. Number 6, the bonus point. The rare experience that makes her compare every other man to you. Here's your bonus truth, just made for the 1% of men ready to face themselves completely. She won't stay for money. She won't stay for looks. She won't stay for nice words or fast replies. She stays for the experience, the feeling, the depth most men never even attempt to create. Most men don't know how to offer that because they're too busy copying, mimicking, repeating lines they think will work. But you don't become unforgettable by acting like every other man. You become unforgettable by embodying something she's never felt before, something that doesn't chase, doesn't beg, simply is. A man whose life itself is an energy field, intense, intentional, unmistakably alive. She walks away from other dates and forgets their voice, their face, their vibe. But when she leaves your presence, she still hears your gravity humming inside her chest. She remembers the way you looked straight through her, past her filters, past her performance, right into the parts she hides from herself. And here's where 99% of men fail completely. They only see her body, so they only touch her body. But the man who sees her patterns, who challenges her beliefs, who creates a moment no one else can replicate, that man becomes the standard she secretly compares everyone else to, even if she never admits it. You want to know what separates a man she forgets from the man she remembers forever? It's the one who made her feel something she can't recreate anywhere else. Not the one who flirted best. The one who made her feel safe to drop the mask. The one who didn't just ask questions. He made her question herself. The one who didn't chase connection. He created contrast. You were calm when she was wild, grounded when she was scattered, slow when she was rushing, solid when she was unsure. You didn't chase her laughter. You revealed her stillness, and in doing that, you stopped being just a man. You became an experience. A man can be forgotten, but an experience, it lingers, it haunts her, in the best way. She won't admit it, but she compares every man she meets, looking for that same feeling you gave her, even when she can't explain why she misses you. Because you weren't just different, you were real. And real is rare. So stop trying to impress. Start building your world. Become so rich in peace, so sharp in clarity, so unshakable in identity, that your very presence feels like reading a book she never knew she needed. And when you live that truth, she won't just choose you, she'll remember you, even long after she's gone. Write this below if you're done copying and ready to become unforgettable. I am the experience no man can copy. If you're still here right now, you already know deep down that everything you've been taught about love, dating and relationships has failed you. The chasing, the compliments, the endless proving, none of it worked. And while you bent over backwards to earn her approval, she was quietly losing respect for you, step by step. That ends right now. Comment below, I choose mastery. Like this video if it opened your eyes today. And subscribe so this message reaches the men who are still wasting their time chasing women who never respected them in the first place. Help them before they lose another year chasing what never worked. See you in the next video. Always remember to keep the Stoic mindset.